Leon Mercer had always trusted the quiet hum of his house. The old beams of the living room floor creaked predictably, the pipes in the walls hissed the same way they had since the day he moved in, and the sun traced the same warm path across the carpet every morning at 10 a.m. But tonight, the house felt different. It felt like it was holding its breath with him. Leon lifted a floorboard, one he knew nobody would ever notice, and slid the GoPro into the dark hollow beneath. The tiny red recording light blinked once before disappearing under the wood. He secured the plank again, pressing it until it sealed flush with the floor. 3 hours. He'd been waiting 3 hours for this moment, sitting silently in the dark hallway, watching Aubrey sleep through the cracked bedroom door. His wife looked peaceful then, gentle, trustworthy. But the camera wasn't meant to record her sleeping. It was meant to record what she did when she thought he wasn't home. Leon sat back on the couch, the same couch where he and Aubrey had spent so many late evenings together. Movie nights, champagne after her promotions, her crying on his chest after losing a family member. Moments he thought were sacred. Moments he now suspected she had replaced with someone else. The GoPro lens pointed directly at that couch, waiting like a loaded trap. Leon's days at the Millbrook Waterworks facility were usually quiet. He liked it that way. Steady, methodical work. As a systems technician, he spent most of his time inside the dispatch center, reviewing pressure gauges, scanning work tickets, and tracking repair schedules across the town's old infrastructure. That morning, the fluorescent lights buzzed overhead as Leon typed in new meter data. It was mundane work, but it gave him space to think. Too much space lately. The door to dispatch swung open, and a familiar voice boomed through the room. "Well, look who's pretending to work again." Grady Sullivan strolled in like he owned the place, his boots thudding confidently on the concrete floor. He smelled faintly of sawdust and the cologne Aubrey once said she liked. Leon forced a smile. Grady had been his friend since high school, loud, impulsive, always cracking jokes, but lately his presence made the air feel wrong. "What do you want, Grady?" Leon asked without looking up. Grady leaned over the back of Leon's chair. "Your job, obviously. Push a button, write a number, call it a day. Easy money." Leon chuckled stiffly. "Right. Because installing city pipelines is so much harder." Grady shrugged. "Manual labor builds character, man. And muscles. Aubrey was saying that just the other day, actually." Leon's fingers paused on the keyboard. "What?" "Oh, nothing. Just that she appreciates a guy who works with his hands." Grady winked. The joke didn't land. It felt rehearsed, too casual, too familiar. Leon's stomach tightened. And then he noticed something else. Grady wasn't wearing his visitor badge. He was carrying a keycard. Leon's keycard. His name printed right on it. He swallowed. "Where'd you get that?" Grady waved it dismissively. "You must have left it at my place after poker night. Figured I'd drop it off." Leon hadn't been to Grady's place in over 3 months. When Grady finally left, Leon stared at the badge in his hands. His heart hammered. Something cold crept up his spine. He didn't believe the story. He didn't believe anything anymore. The suspicion followed him home like a shadow. As soon as he stepped into the kitchen, he saw the first sign. 2 mugs sitting on the table. One with lipstick, one with a fingerprint that wasn't Aubrey's. Aubrey never drank coffee after 8 a.m. These cups were still warm. He walked deeper into the house, past the living room. 2 couch pillows sat crooked. one pushed halfway onto the rug. Aubrey was meticulous. She never left anything out of place. Then the scent hit him. Grady's cologne. Warm. Sharp. Lingering. It felt like a punch. Leon stepped into his home office and stopped immediately. Papers on his desk were shifted. The drawer he kept locked was slightly open. Someone had rummaged through his files. Someone bold. Someone who felt entitled. Someone who knew he wouldn't be home. He exhaled slowly. Every nerve in his body buzzed. There was no more doubt. Grady had been here, and Aubrey had let him. That night, while Aubrey slept soundly in their bed, Leon sat on the garage floor, surrounded by wires, microphones, and small camera mounts. His hands worked mechanically, but his mind was blazing. He installed a wired camera in the living room vent, a mini audio recorder under the desk in the office, a motion-triggered device behind the bookshelf, and of course the GoPro under the floorboard. By morning, the entire house had become a silent witness. Leon changed his work schedule the next day, telling his supervisor he needed to coordinate with a field crew on irregular hours. Perfectly reasonable, perfectly logged, perfectly verifiable. He wanted to make sure Aubrey and Grady had no idea when he would or wouldn't be home. He wanted to give them rope and see what they did with it. On Thursday night, the footage confirmed everything. Leon sat alone in the basement office he used for repair logs and maintenance plans. The glow of the laptop screen lit his face as he opened the GoPro's memory card. The first minute showed nothing. Then movement. Aubrey walked into the living room wearing the soft blue dress Leon bought her 2 years ago. She looked nervous, checking the windows, adjusting her hair. Then Grady stepped into frame. He sat beside her, too close. He reached for her hand. She didn't pull away. Leon's fingers dug into the armrest. He watched as Grady pulled a small velvet box from his pocket. A ring. A diamond ring. Aubrey gasped and covered her mouth, smiling like a girl meeting her first love. He slid it onto her finger. She leaned in. They kissed. Leon didn't blink for nearly a minute. His throat closed. His chest hollowed out like someone had scooped him empty with a shovel. Then something inside him hardened into stone. They thought he was blind. They thought he was weak. They truly didn't expect his next move. The next morning, Leon moved through the halls of the Millbrook Municipal Building with a purpose no one had ever seen in him before. He wasn't the quiet, predictable technician today. He was a man building a case, brick by brick, against the two people who had carved the floor out from under him. He knocked on the frosted glass door, marked Human Resources, L. Brennan. Lola Brennan lifted her head from a stack of forms, her expression softening when she saw him. "Leon, you okay? You look like you haven't slept." "I haven't," he said plainly. "I need your help." Lola gestured him inside, closing the door behind him. She'd always been one of the few people in the building who treated Leon like he mattered. She was sharp, organized, and had a reputation for sniffing out lies from across a parking lot. Exactly who he needed. "What's going on?" she asked. He handed her the first printout, an access log listing the entry time for his keycard, one he knew he didn't use. Lola frowned. "Leon, this shows your card opening the back maintenance entrance at 2:17 p.m. on Monday." "I was on site at Willow Creek that afternoon," he said. "You can check the GPS logs." She clicked her pen sharply. "Then who—" "Oh, Grady." Leon nodded once. "And that's not all," he said, sliding another sheet across her desk. "He signed off a water meter adjustment under my name That's felony-level fraud if it hits the wrong auditor. Lola swore under her breath. Leon, this could get him fired, suspended, maybe even charged. That's the idea. She leaned back, crossing her arms. Why would Grady be using your access? What's he trying to get to? Leon swallowed hard. My wife. Lola blinked, and then her expression changed completely, becoming sharper, colder, protective. Tell me everything. He did. Not the emotional pieces, not how his chest felt like it had collapsed, not the sick twist of betrayal in his gut. Just facts. Times, dates, locations, patterns. When he finished, Lola pushed her chair back and said, I'll help you. But Leon, this is going to get ugly. That's the point, he said quietly. Together they built a timeline, keycard misuse, unauthorized building access, fraudulent signatures, and the personal misconduct that shadowed it all. For the first time since suspicion took root, Leon felt anchored, focused, dangerous. That night, Leon returned home early. He didn't walk into the house. He walked into the shadows. A dark corner of his bedroom closet gave him a perfect vantage point through the cracked door. The microphones were running, the living room vent camera was active, and the GoPro watched from below the floor. He waited. At 8:12 p.m., the front door opened. Aubrey giggled. Giggles Leon hadn't heard aimed at him in months. Grady's voice followed. Relax, babe. He never comes home before 11. Babe. The words sliced like glass. They moved into the living room, and Leon watched through the sliver of the closet door as his wife sat on the couch, sliding her shoes off. Grady dropped beside her. The audio recorder caught every word. So, you tell him yet? Grady asked. Of course not, Aubrey said. Leon thinks loyalty is a personality trait. He'd fall apart if he knew. Grady laughed. Guess I'm doing you a favor then. Stop, she playfully swatted him. He's just boring. Predictable, you know? Grady smirked. Yeah, and predictable people don't fight back. Leon's jaw clenched so tightly it hurt. The conversation shifted. Talk of meeting up on Saturday. Talk of future plans. Talk of going away for a weekend if things went well. Then Grady lowered his voice. What about the insurance thing? Leon's blood ran cold. Aubrey sighed dramatically. Honestly, if Leon got into an accident or something, life would be easier. He has the bigger policy. Grady laughed again. You're terrible. Am I wrong? I mean, no, Grady admitted. But hey, accidents happen. Leon's stomach churned. Insurance. Accidents. His wife and supposed friend discussing his hypothetical death like it was a budget plan. He pressed his fist against the closet wall, forcing himself not to burst out and tear both of them apart. He needed evidence. He needed their words captured. And right now, they were giving him everything he needed. 10 minutes later, they kissed again. And that was enough. Leon stepped out of the closet silently, like a ghost forming in the doorway. Aubrey screamed when she saw him. Grady jerked up from the couch, wiping his mouth. Leon, Jesus! Leon raised a small device in his hand. A recorder. The red light still blinking. Don't bother lying, Leon said. His voice was calm. Too calm. Everything you said is recorded, including the part where you discussed my death. Aubrey's eyes widened. Leon, sweetheart, please don't, he said sharply. Don't you dare call me that. Grady tried to stand tall, puffing out his chest. Look, man, we can talk about this like adults. No, Leon said. I'm done talking. He walked toward the front door. You'll both be hearing from my lawyer. I'm filing for divorce tonight. And you? He pointed at Grady. "We'll be dealing with HR and the city prosecutor." That made Grady snap. "You son of a—" He lunged. Leon sidestepped effortlessly. Years of crawling through tight maintenance tunnels and lifting heavy pipes had made him stronger than he looked. Grady slammed into the wall. Leon didn't hit him. He didn't have to. He simply looked down at him and said, "You should have remembered who you were stealing from." And then he walked out the door, leaving his wife and best friend in stunned, furious silence. By morning, divorce papers were filed. A restraining order followed. Lola submitted her report to the city, and prosecutors opened an investigation into both Grady and Aubrey. Leon didn't stop. He didn't even slow down. This wasn't revenge fueled by rage. This was revenge fueled by precision, and he was only just getting started. The days that followed felt unreal, like Leon was living in a cold, detached version of his own life. But he didn't crumble. He sharpened. He rebuilt his entire world underground, literally. Beneath Millbrook's old pump station existed a forgotten basement room that hadn't been touched since the 1980s. Concrete walls, exposed pipes, a single metal desk corroded by humidity. Most people didn't even know it existed. Leon did. He transformed it into his war room. A generator hummed softly in the corner. A corkboard spanned the far wall, covered with printouts, keycard logs, timestamps, bank withdrawals, phone screenshots, still frames from GoPro footage. In the middle, pinned like the nucleus of a rotten cell, were two photos: Aubrey, Grady, enemies now, targets. He didn't feel satisfaction, just clarity. The moment Lola dropped off a sealed envelope marked "Internal Investigation Pending," he realized how far he'd come. "Leon," she said, stepping inside the basement room, wrinkling her nose at the damp smell. "This place looks like a crime drama set." He smirked without humor. "It's efficient." She set a stack of documents on the desk. "Everything you asked for. Access logs, signature comparisons, work order fraud summaries. This is enough to bury Grady's career. Maybe prison, depending on what else we find." Leon nodded. "Good." Lola hesitated. "And Aubrey?" Leon kept his eyes on the board. "Her actions will bury her on their own." The phone on the desk buzzed. Unknown number. Leon answered. "Yes?" A lawyer's voice came through. "Mr. Keaton, your wife filed a motion this morning. She's requesting a delay in the divorce proceedings." Leon didn't blink. "On what grounds?" "She claims she is pregnant." Lola's eyebrows shot up as she mouthed, "You're kidding." Leon's jaw tightened. "It's not mine." "Yes, sir. We assumed as much. But the court will require proof." "Then I'll give them proof," Leon said. "Schedule whatever tests they need." When he hung up, Lola exhaled sharply. She really thought that would work. After everything? "Manipulation is her first language," Leon said quietly. "She thinks I'm still the man she can guilt and bend." Lola studied him for a long moment. "You're not that man anymore." "No," he agreed. "I'm not." 3 days later, the court hearing began. Judge Matheson was known for being strict, humorless, and allergic to nonsense, exactly who Leon wanted. The courtroom was small, packed with wooden benches, and a lonely flag in the corner. Aubrey arrived with her attorney, wearing a soft blue dress and a facade of trembling innocence. Her hair was curled, her makeup subtle. The perfect, wronged wife. Grady didn't attend. He wasn't allowed near Leon. Leon walked in with a folder so thick it strained the metal rings. When the judge called the case forward, Aubrey's attorney launched into a speech about marital miscommunication emotional strain, and a temporary lapse of judgment, painting Grady as a comforting figure and Aubrey as a confused woman overwhelmed by life. Leon didn't correct him. He simply waited. When Judge Matheson turned to him, he rose calmly. "Your Honor," he said, "I have evidence." He placed a portable monitor on the table, pressed play. The video began. A timestamp in the corner, the angle from the vent camera, Aubrey on the couch, Grady beside her, the diamond ring glinting on her finger. The room fell silent, except for Aubrey's recorded voice. Honestly, if Leon got into an accident, life would be easier. He has the bigger policy. Gasps swept through the courtroom. Aubrey shot to her feet. "Leon, you can't. This isn't." "Sit down," Judge Matheson ordered. Her attorney turned pale. Leon continued. He presented the keycard records, the forged signatures, the bank statements showing thousands siphoned from Aubrey's salon into an account linked to Grady. Then he handed over the paternity test. The judge scanned it quickly. "Not the biological father," she read aloud. "Filed yesterday." Aubrey collapsed back into her chair, face in her hands. Judge Matheson didn't hesitate. "Divorce granted. Mr. Keaton retains ownership of the home, all marital assets, and full financial control. Mrs. Keaton is not entitled to alimony." Aubrey's attorney whispered frantically to her, but it didn't matter. The gavel struck. It was final. Leon exhaled. Not relief, not happiness. Just the end of something rotten. Grady showed up 2 days later. Leon was working alone in the underground room when the heavy metal door creaked open. Grady stepped inside, looking nothing like the man Leon used to know. His hair was unwashed, his eyes bloodshot, his hands shaking. "You ruined me," Grady said. His voice cracked. "You destroyed everything. My job, my reputation. Your wife won't even talk to me anymore. She thinks this is all my fault." Leon didn't look up from the paperwork he was organizing. "It is your fault." "You didn't have to go this far," Grady snapped. "We were friends." Leon finally raised his head. "Friends don't sleep with each other's wives." Grady flinched. "And they definitely don't talk about insurance payouts while doing it." For a moment, Grady said nothing. He just stared at the scattered evidence tacked across the wall. His handwriting, his signatures, screenshots of messages he never thought anyone would read. Then he whispered, "What am I supposed to do now?" Leon shrugged. "Live with the consequences." Grady stepped closer, fists clenching. "I should break your jaw right now." Leon didn't move. "Try it. I'll hand the assault charge to the prosecutor personally." Grady froze, realizing the trap. "You're done, Grady," Leon said softly. "Not because of me, because you gambled everything and lost." Grady's face twisted in bitter anger, then despair. He left without another word. Leon watched him go, knowing the man had just walked out of his own future. That night, Leon returned to work as if nothing had happened. The sound of rushing water, the rhythm of pipes and valves, that was his world. Honest work, predictable, logical. He liked predictable now. Predictable meant safe. When he finished his shift, he drove home, pulling into the driveway of the house that was once filled with lies. Now it was quiet. A peaceful, echoing quiet. He stepped inside, breathing in the stillness. No perfume, no laughter that wasn't meant for him, no footsteps that didn't belong. Just his home, his victory, his freedom. He locked the door behind him and smiled, for the first time in months. The system was stable again. And unlike Aubrey and Grady, Leon understood how to keep systems from collapsing. The house felt different now. Not empty, cleansed. As Leon stepped into the kitchen, the lights blinked on softly, illuminating spotless countertops, where 2 coffee mugs once betrayed everything he loved. He lingered for a moment, remembering the bitter sting of that day, and then letting it fade. He wasn't reliving wounds anymore, he was cataloging victories. He placed his work bag down and walked into the living room. The couch looked harmless now, just fabric and cushions, not a crime scene of broken vows. He'd replaced the rug, repainted the walls, even rearranged the furniture. It wasn't a place where Aubrey and Grady had kissed. It was a place where Leon had survived, where he'd won. He lowered himself into the chair facing the window and let the silence wrap around him. Outside, Millbrook's streets glowed under the amber streetlights. Kids rode their bikes home, a couple walked their dog. The world kept moving, unaware of the war that had raged in this house. A war Leon had finished, but survival alone wasn't enough. Not for him. He needed to rebuild. The next morning, Leon woke with an unfamiliar feeling, a weightlessness in his chest where dread used to live. He brewed coffee, stepped onto the porch, and let the steam rise into the crisp air. No Aubrey storming through the door, no Grady swaggering into his life, no recording devices waiting to expose betrayal. Just morning, just peace. Later, at work, colleagues approached him cautiously. Word of the scandal had spread through the department like wildfire. People tried not to pry, but their eyes begged for an explanation. Leon shrugged off the curiosity. He wasn't interested in gossip. He was interested in control. He climbed into the municipal truck and headed out on routine inspections, hydrant pressure tests, valve checks, pump evaluations. He knew how to keep a system functioning, how to find leaks before they flooded whole neighborhoods, how to repair blockages before they burst. He understood cause and effect better than anyone. By late afternoon, he found himself repairing a backup valve on the east side of Millbrook, sweat dripping down his neck as machinery thudded around him. The work was grounding, steadying. While others melted down under pressure, Leon thrived. He always had. When the job was done, he wiped his hands on a rag and looked at the shimmering water flowing cleanly through the transparent inspection pipes. No leaks, he murmured, just like his life now. 2 days after the divorce ruling, Leon found an envelope stuck in his screen door. No name, no return address. But he recognized the handwriting instantly. Aubrey. He brought it inside but didn't open it right away. He let it sit on the kitchen table while he cooked dinner, salmon, rice, steamed vegetables. The routine comforted him. Only after he'd eaten and washed the dishes did he finally break the seal. The letter was short. Leon, I lost everything. My job, my reputation, my home. The baby isn't mine anymore either. Grady's avoiding me and says you destroyed his life. Maybe you did. Maybe we did this to ourselves. I don't know. But I do know that I miss the man who loved me. I hope someday you'll think of me without hate. Aubrey Leon read the letter twice. Then he folded it neatly and placed it in the trash. Not out of spite, out of certainty. She was part of a system that had failed. He wasn't rebuilding that system. Not now. Not ever. The next week brought another unexpected encounter. Leon had just finished replacing an aging valve in the South District when someone called his name across the lot. Leon! He turned to see Lola walking toward him, waving a folder. You didn't return my call, she said lightly, but with concern under the humor. I've been decompressing, Leon admitted. She nodded. Makes sense. What you went through, it's enough to crush most people. Not me. I noticed. She hesitated. A rare softness touched her voice. You dismantled them, Leon. All of them. Grady, Aubrey. Even the system that protected them. Most people never find that kind of closure. He shrugged. I didn't do it for closure. Then why? Leon thought for a moment, tapping the wrench against his palm. Because if someone wants to break you, you show them they picked the wrong man. Lola smiled faintly. Still, it's over now. You can start living again. Leon didn't respond, but her words stuck with him. Living again. What did that even mean? Later that evening, after finishing paperwork and cleaning tools, Leon drove home, the soft hum of the engine steady and familiar. The sun dipped low as he reached his street, painting the sky in hues of violet and ember. He stepped inside his house, his safe house, his earned house. He poured a drink, not whiskey, not anything to numb the past, just sparkling water with lemon, fresh and clean. He walked into the living room and opened the window. A cool breeze drifted in, carrying the scent of pine and distant rain. For hours he sat there, letting peace slowly carve out space where bitterness used to live. He let himself breathe. He let himself exist. No watchers, no betrayers, no schemes unfolding behind his back. Just Leon, alive, awake, free. Midnight crept up on him gently, as if the world itself didn't want to interrupt. He rose, stretched, and walked through the hallway. The house felt warm now, not empty. He flicked off the lights one by one, appreciating the soft glow fading into darkness. By the time he reached his bedroom, he felt a calm satisfaction settle deep into his bones. He lay down and stared at the ceiling, listening to the subtle hum of the air system. A system he'd installed himself, airtight, reliable, unbreakable, just like him now. When his eyes finally drifted closed, a rare and genuine smile tugged at his mouth. He had survived the betrayal. He had defeated the conspirators. He had kept the house, kept his life, and reclaimed his name. And for the first time in a very long time, Leon felt not like a man who had been wronged, but like a man who had won. A man who knew exactly how to prevent collapse. A man who had mastered every system, including his own fate.